Pregame.com.
Las Vegas trying to trap a certain huge fan base, Ohio State Buckeye fans. You better listen up. Scott Spreitzer, Steve Fezzik, this is pregame.tv, and we got a great topic to talk about here because we're talking Ohio State Buckeyes. Love them or hate them, everybody wants to talk about Ohio State. Steve, and how best to bet them.
Yeah, and people are talking about, is Ohio State going to go undefeated, 11.5 season wins? But the bet I'm making on this game, Scott, Ohio State over 11 wins, -165. And lots of reasons to go ahead and like the Buckeyes. Let's face it, they laid waste to the Big Ten when they were but young and weak. Now they're older and stronger. 3 straight years that they have had only, of those 3 years, 1 loss during the regular season. How Virginia Tech beat this team is beyond me. But you have, when you start seeing numbers like that, oh my goodness, this team's just going to be a juggernaut.
Well, best thing that happened to Virginia Tech last year is all of a sudden you got an injury at quarterback, and fortunes went south in that particular game for the Buckeyes. But if you lose one quarterback, you got a guy behind him who might be better than first string. You got a guy behind him in third who might be better than the first string also. There's just no weakness on this Ohio State team. I think it's going to be a great season for Ezekiel Elliott, the running back behind that big offensive line, and then to be able to pull a little bit of attention away from the quarterbacks. When Elliott's running the football, they're just going to be a monster. But Steve, I'm looking at that schedule. They play nobody in the first few weeks of the season. Yeah, Virginia Tech's pretty good. You got to stay focused when you go to Blacksburg. But Urban Meyer can just show that game tape from last year to keep his team focused. They avoid Wisconsin. They avoid Nebraska. They got 2 games. Home Michigan State, at Michigan to win the regular season.
Yeah, you nailed it. Basically, they play a 3-game schedule. Those maybe Penn State.
Sure.
Not going to happen, but call it 3 games. Normally, and here's where the odds makers mess this one up. At the Gold Nugget, they're very good with their bookmaking. They know that a half game's worth about 65 cents. So over under 11.5, we'll make at 11, we'll make the over -165. And that's where we jump on it, because if you look at it, scary math, warning, warning. If you made this bet 100 times, I firmly believe Ohio State would go 12-0 in the regular season 50 times. They'd win 11 games 32 times, and they'd win less than 11, maybe 20 times. You take out that 30, that's 50 and 20. I should be laying 250 here. I'm laying 165, a bargain.
And now everybody knows why I call you when it gets to the scary math part. But I'll tell you what, not only what you're saying about that, but how about this? I'll throw this one at you. You can tell me if you agree or not. You can bet a certain amount of teams, 10 or 12 teams that they got on the board right now, which 4 are going to make the Final Four. And with that schedule, the lack of, and I say this and I mean this, but it's not a shot against Urban Meyer or the Buckeyes in general. You can literally put a headset on a monkey, and I'm talking about the animal, put a headset on a monkey on the sideline, and they're going to get 9 wins out of this team and out of this schedule. Toss Urban Meyer into the mix, he gets you over the top. They could split against Michigan and Michigan State, win the Big Ten title, and still get voted into the Final Four by that committee who wants to have a defending champ playing for the Final Four. I think -230, Ohio State to make the Final Four is a nice play.
I love it, a bonus pick. So the official pick, over 11 wins, lay $1.65. I'd lay it all the way up to -230. It's so strong here. But as Scott mentioned, lots of different ways to get at this, and the only way I'm not getting at it is playing Ohio State over the 11.5. I will play them to make the Final Four minus the 230, because if they go 11-1 and then they win the Big Ten championship game, and if they weren't even in the Big Ten championship game, 11-1 gets them in the Final Four. As baseball bettors betting on other things, we hate to lay 230. I'm fine doing it in situations like this where it's not a lock, don't want to say lock, but it's certainly a good 80% chance that they're in that Final Four. Love talking college football videos all summer long, pregame.tv.